and welcome to the BuiltOnAir podcast. BuiltOnAir is a regular podcast where we talk with everyday people and learn about the amazing things they are doing with Airtable. Today's podcast is sponsored by OpenSide, the leading solutions provider for Airtable customers. Check out openside.com to learn more about their products and services that can take your Airtable usage to the next level. Use promo code BuiltOnAir to receive $20 towards any product purchase. Today, our host Zoe will be speaking with Vix Meldrew, social content and traffic influencer. Vix hails from the UK and has made a name for herself as a creative coach for clients who want to grow their own online brand. She uses Airtable to streamline her content publishing schedule and also shares her templates with her growing audience to help them organize their own projects. In this episode, Vix talks with Zoe about her blog management and organization base, which helps her track daily, weekly, and monthly tasks, and even includes an instruction table that lays out how to use the base. Vix also shows us a new project she's working on, where she's using Airtable to help manage the launch of a membership site.
Okay, so these are my Airtables that I've got going at the moment, and you can see the ones that Danny started for me. I also used it to show how you can use it for a form to bloggers, which they found super helpful. And the one that I have created is this one here. It's blog management and organization. I created a kind of welcome mat for them to see how to use it, and just to say, come and join me on my Facebook group, come and join me on Instagram. And I've broken down how essentially I've laid it out. So what I've done is, you can see across the top here how I've broken it down. I've detailed some daily tasks they can do on the day that they have created some new content. And I'll show you more about that in a second. Then I've said that these are the daily tasks to do when you have no new content, you're just talking about stuff you previously created. These are the things that you can do every week to drive it forward. These are the things that you can do every month to drive it forward. And again, it was designed to give them a routine. So if they ever get stuck and they're like, oh gosh, I know that I need to do lots, but I don't know where to start, they can come into here and go, okay, well, have I done this week? Have I done this month? And kind of catch up. So across here, under the daily tasks where we're talking about new content, I've broken it down into what they could do on their blog, what they can do on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, and any miscellaneous, which will all support the creation of that new blog post. So when you're creating a blog, this is essentially what goes into it. It's proofreading it, researching it, writing it, all of that kind of stuff. And just a few more things that they might not always think of. So doing your internal links, which is good for SEO, making sure you've got a call to action. Then it kind of breaks down for them. Okay, once you've published your blog post, this is how you promote it on Instagram. This is how you promote it on Twitter. This is how you promote it on Facebook. And this is how you can go and promote it on Pinterest. Just to give them that routine. So it's almost like that checklist that they can work through of like, yeah, I've pressed publish. Here's how I'm going to make all of my Instagram followers know, my Twitter followers, my Facebook and Pinterest. And just by doing that, they will see a huge surge in their website traffic. Now, I don't say for people to make content every day. It's exhausting. And like we said before, nobody has time to do that all of the time. I always say to people, if you're making a piece of content a day, a blog post, an Instagram, a Twitter thread, a Facebook post, a LinkedIn post, one thing, you don't have to do it all every day. So under daily tasks for no new content is you published yesterday, you haven't got any new content to promote. So these are some other promotional things you could be doing for your previous content, older content, to get people to come and look at that as well. I've also added in a lot about Instagram engagement, because that's another thing that people forget to do, is that we often feel like it's our podium and we go on there and we put our content out into the world and we expect the crowds to flock. But actually Instagram is mostly about engagement and building a community. So I put reminders in there, go and find new accounts to follow, go and find new accounts to engage with, go and comment and like on people in your community's pictures, because sometimes they need that reminder. Then I've said, moving over to your weekly tasks, again, split it up by the platforms that most bloggers are on. Here are some things to do. If you've done all of your other daily tasks, add some of these things in, because these will also really make a difference in growing your platforms. The miscellaneous one here has been really helpful for them, because these are the ones that they, I've got a cheeky little shout out to my podcast here, but these are the ones that they wouldn't necessarily think to do, and then it kind of piles on top of them. And they're just, good things to do to grow and move things on. And then these monthly tasks, these are the more in-depth tasks that if you're on top of them and you're doing them every month, they are going to make a huge difference to you. Like scheduling out your tweets, scheduling out your pins, the difference that makes in your blog traffic is monumental. So do it in a batch in a month and you're kind of good to go. Use these keyword tools, Google Trends, Pinterest keywords to actually then research what you want to do the next month, so that you're on top of what you're going to be creating as well. And then I've given them an extra little to-do list at the end, because I love this feature in Airtable where you can color code everything, and you some people prefer this kind of colored, more visual style of things to know, okay, well, if I know that I've done this, and this, and I can kind of tick it off, then I know I'm good to go. And yeah, it's just proved to be really successful. People in my community are obsessed with Airtable. They're like, give me more Airtables. What else can we organize? Or they're coming and sharing templates with me and being like, oh, I've taken what you've done and I've added this and I've added that. So yeah, it's so simple. It's so easy for people to do. It's not overwhelming. For people that don't want to have another new technology to learn, it's just all there in front of them for them to use.
Yeah, I love it. This is a great way to kind of get, get people to dip their toe into Airtable, and then they can kind of explore what else it can do to organize all this stuff. Because it is, really, I think just from seeing this, the thing that jumps out at me the most is, you really do have to be pretty tech savvy, right? To, run a successful blog or, Instagram account, because it's not just, oh, hey, I'm posting, I know how to do that, or hey, I can edit photos, or I'm good at writing, but you are looking at analytics. You're having to adjust all these really small things. You have to think about SEO, and it's like how, it is quite complex. So it's just nice kind of seeing it all laid out in this, simple skeleton where you can easily, add things to tweak it to your own special process.
This is why I've then, with my membership that I'm launching, where I've decided to use Airtable. Is it okay if I show like the bare bones of what I've started to make?
Please do. Yeah, absolutely.
See if I can load it up. So with that, what I've realized is actually this whole thing about them wanting and needing this time is that I've created, sorry, that's the wrong one. Where are we? Oh, here we go, down here. I've created another Airtable based on each month. I'm releasing a bundle, and it could be that it will teach them about SEO. It could be that it will teach them about Instagram analytics, or how to develop their brand on Instagram stories. It could be how to develop your blog traffic. It could be how to make your blog and your website and your channels legal. So all of the legal things that you need to do, terms and conditions, disclaimers, all things that people don't necessarily start a blog and then realize that they need to kind of master. So this is what my membership is going to be about, is actually, here are all of the tools that you need, and here's the education behind it, so you can kind of get yourself up and running. So the first bundle is called Grow and Glow from the Go, because my membership will be called Grow and Glow. So this is all about the foundations that you need to lay and the basics that you need to start to get your blog and your channels up and running from day one in the right kind of shape. And again, going back to what people said about needing time and needing things just really clearly laid out for them, I've broken down each job into 2-minute, 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, and 60-minute tasks.
Nice.
So people that work full-time or work part-time, when they're sat on, the train on the way home or the bus on the way home, and they're like, oh, okay, I've got 10 minutes on this bus. What can I do today? They can come into their Airtable. They can go, oh, okay, cool. Well, if I just write these 4 sentences, that will be my whole elevator pitch sorted. That's a big job ticked off. Or they might think to themselves, okay, today I've got a bit more time. I can go into my 60-minute tasks, and I can actually go, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to go onto Canva, and I'm going to make all of these graphics in my new branding to show people, yeah, I'm here, I'm serious, and I'm well branded and looking professional from the start. so they can come in here and dip in and out of these tasks across the framework that I've got here for success. And every single one of these, by the time they finish all of these tasks, I've worked it out, they're under 10 hours in a whole month. Their blogs and their channels will be prepped, prime, good to go. I've got small businesses trialing this as well. So small businesses that are starting up as personal brands who aren't influencers necessarily, but are the face of their companies. They're trialing this too. And they're like, yes, thank you. The foundations are laid.
Right. And I kind of love here too how you're using Airtable in sort of this unconventional way, right? Because from, me from a systems perspective, right? If I were to have to build this for people, I would be like, oh, well, I need to show them how to like build their to-do lists in Airtable and track like, are you doing this 10-minute thing, every day or every week? But sort of the way that you've laid this out, it's much more minimalistic in a way where instead of, I think, overwhelming people, right? It allows them to be like, okay, here are the things I have to do. I can build this out, in a more granular way that works for me with whatever task management, app or method resonates with me. So maybe they're like, awesome, I'll, build an Airtable and put dates and stuff to all of this, or, Trello or bullet journal or, whatever. So it's kind of, I like this sort of like really sort of just very simple, minimalistic approach you've taken, because I think it does cut down on any, overwhelm, right? Of having to learn a new tool on top of like the billions of, apps and stuff that you need to use already.
And I'm developing it as well. So for example, in some of these tasks, it's like read article on this, download PDF that's about this, download this worksheet, download this checklist, and I'm going to chuck them all in the attachment. So people, if they don't know how to do something there and then, there'll be an attachment there that will quickly talk them through it. And then eventually I'm going to be developing it into, especially more for the small business and the personal branding kind of side of things, where I can almost turn it into a whole social media plan where a small brand or a small business can come on, they can get a stock image to put on their Instagram, they can get a caption, they can get a bank of hashtags, and then they're good to go. They can get tweet wording and Facebook post wording and articles to digest, all in this one platform that is just, like you said, it's just so simple and minimal to kind of look at and not get overwhelmed by.
Right. Everything that you could possibly do in Airtable. But yeah, this is awesome. So tell our listeners where they can go to check out more about you and your work. And, maybe even, are you still accepting participants for your class?
Yeah. So my name is Vix Meldrew. I'm at Vix Meldrew on all channels, and it's vixmeldrew.com. On my website, there's loads of blog posts all about social media, starting a blog, driving your traffic, building a personal brand. And I have a podcast myself called Exciting Emails, which is all about the same thing, blogging, growing social channels, very fuss-free, very practical, minimal, no BS kind of approach that you can subscribe to. There's a really fun quiz on my website, which will tell you what sort of blogger you are. Even if you're not a blogger, it's quite fun. And that will sign you up to my mailing list, where you will get these free resources, these free Airtables coming through. If you go to vixmeldrew.com/Airtable-tutorial, I would do a whole tutorial run through of how I've used it for my blog. And then you can download my exact template, the one that I've just shown here, to use for your social channels. If you are a blogger or a small brand or anything that wants to grow your channels, you can go and do that. In terms of my coaching, I am fully booked for the next couple of months. However, my membership launch, which is the Grow and Glow, which I've shown you here, is going to be launching for beta members in 3 weeks. So I'm looking to take on 100 to 200 members. We're almost, the waiting list is pretty packed, but I'd love to see who comes and joins it.
Awesome. We'll include links to your handles and website in the show notes, so everyone can check out all of the awesome content that you have and all of your, membership, Grow and Glow, coaching type services.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Vix. It was great to kind of chat with you and learn a little bit more about the world of, a real life influencer, right? Instead of, tummy tea from Instagram. So yeah, thanks so much for your time. And I hope you have an amazing day.
You too. Thank you.